hello world.
Hey,
Hello, April.
hey, Sweetie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's been a pretty good week. Busy but good.
I know, right? It's been a pretty jam-packed week. We've had a couple of, back-to-back, events going on. And yep, it's been a lot of stuff. Like I've basically been just like playing catch up and catching up on like a bunch of things going on. But there seems to be like a little birdie that tells me you've got two exciting things to share. But I'm going to ask you about that first thing. So I see that you presented as part of the MBAS Summit, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I had the chance to do two sessions, one on community with Heather Newman and another deep dive into Power Virtual Agents and how to get started with that. So those both went really well. There was a ton of great sessions at MBAS overall, so definitely check that out because they're all available on demand. So you can watch those at mymbas.microsoft.com.
That is awesome. I'm definitely it's on my queue. I have, like I said, a bunch of videos to watch. But also the other thing the little birdie told me is you have some exciting news to share with us.
Yeah, so a couple things. Channel 9 show, I just started a show called Powerful Dev. So myself and Greg Hurlman on the advocacy team will be co-hosting this. And this show is all focused on, the pro dev or the code first developer experience in the Power Platform. So we're highlighting people with those traditional programming language skills and their stories of how they're using the Power Platform. So our first guest in our first episode was Dustin Sinton, and he's talking about how he transformed his company from being a primarily code first developer shop to leveraging the Power Platform. So it's pretty cool, great way to kick off the new show here, and we'll have more episodes coming out soon.
Amazing. Well, I'm very excited. All this awesome new content. So cool. Very jealous for, everybody who's going to be watching. Been going to learn new things and awesome things. I was going to say it was a pretty jam-packed week because, of course, like I said, we had the Ability Summit, we had the MBAS Summit, but also yesterday we had an amazing and one of my special favorite things I look forward to. So every month, all of our different .NET teams do a community stand-up where the PMs come on. Sometimes they have special guests from the engineering team. They come in and they talk about, the roadmap of all the things that's coming up in our product cycle. So every Thursday, so the first Thursday of every month is my favorite community stand-up. That's the Xamarin community stand-up. And yesterday's episode was pretty jam-packed, I'll tell you, because we had Jake, out of our amazing PMs, and of course, as always, Maddie, she hosts the show. And they were talking about the new updates that are coming in as part of .NET 6 and .NET MAUI. And Jake showed you some cool stuff about the single project, awesomeness that's been going on. So it was a very exciting episode. The links for it are in the show notes.
Awesome. Well, speaking of community real fast, we had our SharePoint monthly community call yesterday, and it was pretty cool. Definitely check out the recording on YouTube now, which in the show notes here, we had a mother-daughter pairing present a React web part that they built for SharePoint. So it was Sam and Allison Collins, and Allison, the daughter, is only 14 years old, so breaking records for the youngest contributor on the call there. So it's pretty cool experience and a call to watch there.
That is fascinating. So like mother-daughter bonding time. And so I'm guessing maybe the mom is already been doing a little bit of this work and she just sort of inspired to get her daughter along to join her.
Exactly. I mean, that's my kind of bonding right there, right? To code something together. So it's really, really cool.
It's very cool. Very cool. I was just thinking, talking of other things you can do mother-daughter together or with your kids. The NASA helicopter that I'm always obsessed with, the little baby helicopter. Yeah. Also, by the way, successful flights altogether, it's going to do an even more extended flight, it seems. But also we have, there's a NASA gaming tutorial that you can go see how to make a baby helicopter tutorial. So pretty exciting. I put the link to that also in the show notes. But talking of show notes, let's talk about today's show. We've got some exciting guests. We have Jeff Fritz joining us. He's going to talk about what's new in .NET. And then we have Chloe in her student section talking to an inspiringly awesome student. Next, then we have Rochelle, who's interviewing a lot of inspiring people on today's show. She's interviewing an inspiring MVP. And of course, our favorite person, our best friend in the whole wide world. We have Diego, who's going to be sharing something inspiring, something cool from Diego's wall.
Awesome.
So are you geared? Shall we do it? Shall we get started?
Let's do it.
All right. So kicking things off, we have Jeff Fritz joining us today to talk to us about what's new in .NET.
Hey.
Hello. Hey, Jeff. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's great to be here in the friendly confines of Hello World.
That is awesome. I'm digging your background. That is very, very cool.
That's
So for all of your new friends that you're meeting on the show today, do you want to give us a quick intro? Tell us who
Hey
you
there,
are,
Fritz.
what you do.
Yeah, how's it going there? My name is Jeff Fritz. I'm a program manager on the Visual Studio and .NET teams with a focus on community interactions. I help out with planning events, I help out with virtual events that are going on online, and with a particular focus on live video interactions. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch, broadcasting on the Visual Studio channel with all kinds of lessons and effectively doing .NET radio, talking to folks and helping them out live.
That is amazing. Super, super cool. I mean, I'm definitely going to be tuning in a little bit more to this .NET radio of yours. I love .NET. I love C#, as you can
There you
see.
go.
So basically, I guess my first question would be, now that you mentioned .NET, I see .NET. What is new? What's coming up next in .NET?
So the next version of .NET that's going to be coming out, we're going to see it come out in November is the scheduled release. November 2021, we're going to see the scheduled release of .NET 6. So .NET 6, the next step up from .NET 5. This is a version that's been marked as a long-term support release, or an LTS release, you'll see us refer to it. And this version has a bunch of performance updates, a bunch of updates that are going to make Blazor perform better, and you're also going to see the introduction of, you mentioned it earlier, .NET MAUI, our new multi-application user interface framework that you're going to be able to use to build using some of those very similar Xamarin technologies for iPhone, Android, Mac, and Windows. Really great stuff coming as part of that. And there's also developer updates that are going to make folks just a lot more productive, including things like hot reload that I think you've experienced with some of the Xamarin functionality that we've seen recently.
Of course. I mean, I'm very, very excited for .NET MAUI. Like you say, I'm very excited to get all the cool awesomeness from our Xamarin, development cycle and share it with the rest of the .NET community. So you did say like hot reload. I love hot reload.
Oh.
Why don't you share with us, like, what is it that you love about hot reload, and why are we talking about the hot reload with .NET 6? What's going on?
So hot reload, when we've seen with our friends that are using Xamarin, it is an incredibly productive feature that we can use as developers to build and immediately see impact in our applications on mobile. So with .NET 6, we're going to bring hot reload to all of our application frameworks. And in fact, I've got a little bit of a video that I want to share with you where I show this working with Blazor. There it is. There's my video right there. This is using Visual Studio Code. I have that up on the left, and I just built a new Blazor WebAssembly application, started it up, and it's got that typical startup that you're used to seeing. And when we .NET Watch right now, you make a change and it reloads the entire page. You saw that flash happen. Well, right now, if we go into our properties and we specify hot reload profile Blazor WASM for a WebAssembly application, when we restart with that same .NET Watch experience, now when we make changes to things like text, it updates immediately. Well, not just text, right? We're used to doing with our Xamarin apps, we can update more than just text. We can update properties like the title here on my survey prompt component. And there it is, updated. We can change our styles and they reflect immediately in the browser. There we go. I've got autosave turned on here, so I'm not even clicking save, and it's just adding components to the page and refreshing immediately. Huge productivity update that we get.
100%. I mean, let me tell you, using hot reload on Xamarin every day, life changer. I'm very excited that everyone's going to experience it. I do have a question though. Right now, I have Visual Studio 2019 installed. Will this work with 2019 at the moment?
Right now, as part of Preview 3 of .NET 6, it's not wired up just yet. It's going to be released. It's going to be as part of a preview release that you'll see later on in the summer as they finish building out those features.
Gotcha. Thanks for all that information. One last question before I let you go.
Sure.
Can I expect this to work with all .NET applications once this is out?
That's the goal for .NET 6 release in November. We want to see it not just for Xamarin and Blazor, but also ASP.NET, WinForms, WPF, the whole shoot and match it should work with.
That is amazing. That is so cool. April, I cannot wait for you to try out Hot Reload on all the different .NET applications. It is amazing. Life-changing tool.
Yeah, definitely. Where has this been all my life? I could have used this years ago, especially when I was doing lots of .NET and C# stuff. Well, so next up we have Chloe Condon. She is back for our Student Spotlight segment. Let's see what amazing guests that she has with us this week.
Hey y'all, Chloe Condon back again with the student segment. And as I have every week, I have an amazing student to highlight. Welcome to the show, Locksley.
Hi, Chloe. I am so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on.
So you are a Microsoft student ambassador, but you also have a lot of really cool hobbies. Tell us a little bit about yourself and all the things that you do.
Yes. Okay. So I'll just give a little bit of background on myself. So I am currently a senior at the University of Washington studying informatics. And informatics is a really unique major because it's right at the intersection of information, computer science, and people. And really, those are like the key aspects, I feel like, of being a really awesome Microsoft Learn student ambassador. And I became a Microsoft Learn student ambassador last January. So I have only been one for about 4 months now, but I've had so many amazing experiences, so many awesome opportunities. So I would say, like, for hobbies, I've been doing a lot of blogging, but most recently, this past April, I've started doing what's called a Visual Green Tech Challenge, which we'll go into a little more later. But most recently, I co-hosted the Global AI Student Conference with Microsoft 2 weekends ago, and we have a couple more exciting tech conferences on the horizon that I'm excited to dive into a little more.
Congratulations. That's so exciting. And my background's a little boring. I'm going to make my background this beautiful art that you made. Tell us a little bit about what this is.
Yes, first of all, a beautiful background. I need to do that in my own background, so you have inspired me. So I'll go into this a little bit. So Nitya is an amazing cloud advocate with Microsoft, and she's been doing these amazing Sketchnotes. She's actually the person who introduced me to Sketchnotes. And so during the month of April, she led a Visual Green Tech Challenge to spread awareness around Earth Day. And so I participated in all of the daily challenges. Those are all of the visuals that you see behind you, Chloe. And the awesome part about this is Microsoft is partnering with Ecosia to plant 1,000 trees for this. So just an amazing cause to be a part of. And the final thing I'll note is my twin sister helped me with a couple of these visuals. She is the incredibly talented artist. So she drew a very cute elephant for Project 15 and a Stellar's J for community advocacy. So 100% you can actually find them on my personal blog. And if you scroll through my Twitter, you will see them all. So I highly recommend checking them out.
The talent runs in the family. We love to see it. And are you going to be joining us at all in the student zone at Build?
Yes, that's actually the most exciting thing that I'm looking forward to this month is after participating in the Visual Green Tech Challenge, Nitya connected me to the amazing people running the student zone at Microsoft Build. So I have the amazing opportunity to host a session at Microsoft Build, specifically the session on an introduction to Visual Studio and GitHub. So if you're new to GitHub or Visual Studio, if you've used it for a couple of years, you are going to learn a ton. It's going to be an amazing session.
I'm so excited. Every year I look forward to Build. One of the more enjoyable online conferences that I've been to. I'm going to have a quick cameo here from one of our favorite. Let's see if I can get it. We have last year I had the pleasure of interviewing the students of Microsoft the Musical, who put together all of the interns who put that together, and it was so incredible to hear about their story and what inspired them to do that. Do you have any favorite memories from your previous builds you've been to?
Yes, I would say one of my most favorite memories. This is from 2019 build when a very special feature in Visual Studio was talked about. Specifically, it's called Visual Studio Live Share. And it is where you can collaborate. You can bring multiple people into a single Visual Studio and you can all code and debug at the same time. I love Microsoft Musical, so absolutely fantastic. And the awesome thing is after hearing about Visual Studio Live Share, I tried it out for the very first time last December. And it's just, I feel like if you're working on like a school project or like you're casually coding, like just an amazing tool to use.
And there's so many things to learn. Last year, we got to learn from InstaFluff all about streaming and coding online. There's going to be things from MakeCode. There's going to be things from the VS Code team. You never know what's going to happen in the Student Zone at Build. So make sure that you register at aka.ms/hellobuildstudents or check out the show notes. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
That was great. Really looking forward to your session at Build Locksley. That's awesome. Unfortunately, I have no artistic bone in my body. Sweeky, have you tried sketchnoting at all?
Man, exactly like Locksley, my sister has all the talent in artists. She's an animator, so she's the drawer. I'm the cupboard of our family. So that's just how it is. I'm gonna tell her about sketchnoting, and get her inspired into getting into this awesomeness. And talking of awesomeness, our next segment time is here. So next up, we have the MVP spotlight, where today Rochelle is going to be talking to MVP Harjit.
Great. Thanks so much, Sweeky. So today's guest is an IT pro who is an MVP. It's Harjit Dhaliwal. Hi, Harjit.
Hi, Rochelle. It's good to be here.
Great to have you. So we at the MVP program heard about you long before we met you in person. And before you were an MVP, you were very active in the community. And we'd love to hear how you became the powerhouse that the community rallied behind.
So first and foremost, it's the community. I mean, the community is what made the powerhouse, as you said, right? Or as you called it. It was them who rooted for me based on my character, my personality, who I am as a person, and what I was giving and how much I was giving to them and help them, I guess, in their careers, in their technical abilities and stuff like that. So they rooted for me, and this is where I am today.
It's so great to hear. And I know you personally, and I know you as such a friendly guy. So how do you, being so well known, maintain such a welcoming, friendly attitude?
So I go back, I always recall my roots. I think if you remember where we all started somewhere. We didn't get to where we are today just by jumping, the ladder. We had to take steps. So I always remember that. When I remember that, I become very humble and appreciate all the people that have helped me through my journey to where I am today and gave me the roads and the avenues to get here. So I try to do the same for for others, and try to help them from my experiences, skills, abilities, resources, and just give them that.
Yeah, that's so wonderful to hear. And I'd love to hear more about how you continue to keep engaged within the community, Harjit.
Easy. I'm a social butterfly, to say the least. I love socializing. I love the community. And I'm also a big advocate for social media, right? So I'm also known as a social media strategist. I leverage all sorts of things in social media, particularly Twitter, where I'm very active. And I've got a pretty good following there as well. And the other way that I engage is that I created other avenues or other silos for the community to actually seek help, make friendships, ask for technical, assistance, and so on and so forth. For example, like LinkedIn and Facebook groups and Slack and Discord and you name it, right?
Amazing. And how do you continually stay successful year after year in the community?
So my success is actually the success of the community, right? If they are successful, it actually reflects back to me. So I don't focus on myself. Like I'm not doing any of these things for myself or for Harjit. I'm doing it, or for the recognition or awards and things like that. It's like, I'm just trying to help these people. I'm trying to help everybody I can help. And if they become successful, I join the journey as well.
It makes so much sense. What comes around goes around. So
Yeah.
completely agree with that. And lastly, how do you maintain these relationships worldwide?
I keep an open communication channels with everybody. So everyone is welcome to contact me through any way possible, email, social media, and so on and so forth. And I try to keep that, I acknowledge people. And again, I'm try to love making friends. I try to join locations where I can also mentor people, and with that, then it's just a trickling effect. I also have various YouTube shows that I do this with some of my peers, and we have fun, right? We just kind of do that kind of thing to maintain those relationships.
Wonderful. Well, it's been so great having you on the show. We so appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And back to you, Sweekie and April.
Thanks for having me.
That was amazing. I love Harjit's energy. I love it. You have a brand new Twitter follower. You see the notification come up on your thing. I'm now going to follow you
Awesome.
all the time.
Yeah, that's totally awesome. I've been following Harjit for a while on Twitter, so it's cool to get some advice on how we can expand our networks there. All right, well, it is time for Diego's wall. Let's see what Diego.
Hello, April. Hello, Sweekie, and hello, world. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Diego. I'm in my office in Seattle, Washington. And as you know by now, I'm surrounded by these walls where I've been collecting stories and anecdotes and ideas over the 20 years that I've been at Microsoft. One of the things that I've been collecting is also paradoxes. I love a good paradox. One is from a mathematician, for example, Blaise Pascal in 1657. Actually, there's a programming language named after him. And he wrote in a letter to someone else, he said, if I had more time, I would have wrote you a shorter letter. If I had more time, I would have wrote you a shorter letter. And that's a paradox, because paradoxes are things that actually sound contradicting, but the more you think about it, it makes sense. If you have more time to think about what you want to say, you can say it in less words. So today I want to share a paradox that I saw at Microsoft and I see in the tech industry all the time when I mentor people and through my colleagues. And that is that in a big desire to be super productive and super focused, they actually do something that is counterproductive. And that is to only focus on their deep expertise. You know, when you're working on software or you're working in the tech industry, yes, you need deeper expertise on something, but you actually become more productive when you also have a broad interest on other things. Let's say like hobbies, for example. It is actually that combination of deep expertise and broad interest that make you the most creative. Now, this is something that I knew in my heart, but I found in this book, Originals, I found a study highlighted by Adam Grant that I actually keep on the wall. I keep it up here, right there, over there. But you know, that instead of doing that, so you can see it, we're gonna put it on the screen. So we can put that on the screen and you can see that there was a study made about the Nobel Prize winning scientists, all of them from 1901 to 2005. And they looked at all the scientists that won Nobel Prizes and did not win Nobel Prizes. And they looked at, did they have artistic hobbies? And look at what the data shows, that if an award-winning if a scientist had a music artistic hobby, they were 2 times more likely to win a Nobel Prize. And if they had drawing, painting, or sculpting hobbies, they were 7 times greater to win a Nobel Prize. Look at this. If they had a hobby about poetry, writing, or writing novels or plays, 12 times bigger odds of winning a Nobel Prize. And check this out. If they were an amateur actor or actress or a dancer, they actually were 22 times more likely to win a Nobel Prize. So this is the data that shows, and experiments and research was done similarly about patent holders, inventors, people who have patents in the US, or entrepreneurs for startups, and they found the same pattern. If you have a broad interest of hobbies, you actually are more likely to be productive. I'm gonna go back to the center. Okay, so why is this? That's because like our brains are pattern matching machines. That's what our brains are. So the more diverse set of data that you put into our brains, the more interesting the patterns that our brains will find and match. We gotta fit our brain diverse concepts. You know, when you take a break from your deep expertise and you go do a hobby, you come back to your problem set from a slightly different angle. That is because like different disciplines have actually different paradigms. If you're a Broadway musical actress, it actually has a different set of rules than if you're a software engineer. But you bring some of that paradigm and you apply it to the other paradigm. So that, I mean, April, am I making any sense? Swiki, so far?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I know from personal experience, I didn't know there was a whole paradox about this, but I know when I take a break and play the piano or something or the harmonica that I feel better at work and can solve more problems and get unstuck. So it's cool to know that this is actually a thing. There's a whole paradigm behind it.
It is a thing. And this is what, when next time you think, I'm so busy, I wanna achieve so much, I don't have time to have a hobby. I actually will challenge you to say, you don't have time not to have a hobby, because it is that broad range of interest that is going to make you better at what you want to be an expert at. So call to action for you in the audience is, if you don't have a hobby, pick up a hobby. If you have abandoned the hobby because you wanted to be more productive, rekindle your love for that hobby. And then give your brain time and space to mix those concepts. And that's one of the things we've been at Microsoft when we tell our employees to bring your whole self to work. We take trainings about allyship and covering. So it's not only about bring your whole background, how you grew up, your ethnicity, your whole self. It's also about bringing all your interests and all your passions and find a way. So again, as a Microsoft leader myself, who I manage teams, I'll tell you, April and Swiki, like if I have the choice as a Microsoft leader that our employees will spend 1 more hour on their actual project, or they will spend 1 hour pursuing a hobby that they have a passion for, I would prefer they use that hour, because their brain will then do the magic. And it's the mix of these disciplines that brings us the most creative ideas. So that's all for me today. I'll have more for you next week.
That's an amazing call to action. I think we should all take that to heart. And another thing that having a hobby does, it helps prevent burnout too. You don't want to get burned out by just work. You take a break.
Excellent point. And I'm going to take that clip of Diego today, show it to my manager. And that's why I have blocks of time today in my calendar just to play Legos and, maybe make some bread, because that's just what I love to do. That's
Play with your Game Boy and your Tamagotchi. I mean, you have so many things, right?
Exactly. So it's part of my productivity cycle. I love it. I loved this, I love today's call to action from Diego.
Yeah, well, we've had an amazing show today. So let's bring back Jeff Fritz. So he talked to us all about the latest in .NET. I know I am looking forward to all of that hot reload goodness to finally hit. So great. Anything you want to say to anyone, Jeff? Any calls to action here for people to learn more?
Oh my gosh, we've got the .NET 6 Preview 3 is currently available. You can find links to that from the .NET website. More details about that on the .NET and ASP.NET blogs on devblogs.microsoft.com.
Awesome. And we also have Chloe and Locksley for our student spotlight. Locksley, totally looking forward to your build session. You want to tell people how they can join that, or anything you want to?
Yes. I mean, I think Chloe said I think even if you just type in like Microsoft Build into Bing, you will literally find the link and you'll be able to sign up. But also about creativity, like Diego said, start a hobby, start drawing. I came in with visual green tech, visual sketchnoting, 0 experience. So you can absolutely dive in. I'll even ping me on Twitter. I will help you with any advice that you need.
That gives me hope that maybe I can learn it. And of course, we had Rochelle and Harjit. Hey, Harjit. Good to see you here. We're talking all about engage with the community. Harjit, do you want to share how people can follow you or any other advice?
Yeah, please follow me on Twitter and definitely reach out and let me know how I can help. And, bottom line is, we are what we are from what people provided us and helped us. So just be humble, be good people, and give back and help.
Awesome. And of course, Diego, we already have some great advice from Diego. He is practicing what he preaches. He's at hobby right now.
Completely. He's working on his Nobel Prize, so that's 2x Nobel Prize over here. We have Chloe with her Broadway background, 22x. So many Nobel Prize, potential winners here. Everybody, when you win, please mention me in your thank you speech. That's all I ask. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for the show today. We had an awesome time. Thanks for everyone watching live. Up next, we're going to have Explore Azure Cognitive Services while building an AI playground. And if you're watching us on demand, stay there. There's more stuff going to come in soon. Everybody else, let's wave out today. So we're going to do this wave. We're going to do this wave today. We're going to try something new.